Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome to my YouTube channel, or if you're like me and you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Chaotic Curl, and for this week's video, we're gonna keep trying a bunch of different things. So this week is gonna be a little bit different, but before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to follow me over on TikTok and on Instagram at chaoticcurl_crafts, where you'll be able to see what we're going to be doing in this week's video, as well as what I've done in my previous videos. So I'll see you guys over there. So for this week's video, we're actually going to be doing it in two parts. This video will be the tutorial portion, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to work up the stitch that I will be using in my next video for the project that I'm actually working on now. It's turning out super cute, so I'm excited to show you guys that. But I did want to make sure to go over the stitch pattern, since I haven't seen any videos on this stitch pattern, not on YouTube, not anywhere online. I literally just found the diagram on Pinterest and I went from there. So of course I want to show you guys how to do it, so that way if you do decide to use it in any other project, or even in the project that I'm going to be making for next week, then you'll know what to do and you'll know how to increase, how to decrease, how to do everything with this pattern, so you can use it for whatever you want. But I wanted to make sure that you guys would know how to do it. So the pattern that we will be doing is going to be this right here. And I know it looks a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. The stitches that you want to know for this pattern are, of course, how to make a chain stitch. You're going to want to know how to double crochet, and you're going to want to know how to do the Picot stitch. But like I said, I'll be showing you guys how to do all of that in this video. So just keep an open mind and let's get ready. Okay, so the materials that I'm going to be using for this example right now, I'm going to be using the Coboo yarn from Lion's Brand, as you can see, in the pale pink color. And this yarn actually calls for a 4mm hook, so I'm going to be using my 4.25 millimeters since my G hook is 4.25. I have drawn out the pattern so I can see what I'm going to be showing you guys. I know it looks a little confusing, but once you see everything built up in the stitches, it's going to make a lot of sense. So I have my hook and my yarn, and I'm ready to get started. So let's get to work. This pattern calls for a chain with multiple of 12 stitches plus one chain. So I'm just going to go ahead and make 13 chains. So that's 1, 2, 13. So we have our 13 stitches to start with the base chain, and now into that first stitch I'm going to build my first double crochet. So I use the stacked single crochet as my double crochet. If you do chain stitches for your double crochets or to start your rows, you're going to want to chain an additional 3. So you do a multiple of 12 plus 1 stitch plus 3 stitches, which will count as your first double crochet. So in this case, I'm just going to go right into the first loop, the first stitch from my hook, right into this stitch, and I'm just going to start by making a single crochet. Okay, I'm just going to go right in, make my first single crochet, and then into the back leg of that single crochet, put my hook in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and this will actually count as my first double crochet. So now from here it's chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and we're actually going to skip 5 stitches here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the 6th stitch we're going to work 3 double crochet. And try not to let everything get all twisted up on you, but that's 1 double crochet. And now we do 2 more in the same stitch. Okay, now again we chain 4. We're gonna skip 5, and into that last stitch, that last chain in our row, we're gonna go ahead and double crochet. Okay, and that's the first row. Okay, you want to make sure once you finish row 1 to turn your work, and now we're ready to start on row 2. I'm going to be starting every row of this project with the stacked single crochet, so I am not going to be doing any additional chains at the end of any row, but it will still give that nice smooth edge that I like on all of my projects. So for row 2, we started off with a double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. And now we're going to skip the 4 stitches from the previous row, and into that first double crochet, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So that's 1. And we add the second double crochet into the same stitch. 2. We do 1 double crochet in the middle. Just 1 double crochet in that middle stitch from the previous row. And now for the last stitch, for the last double crochet from the 3 double crochets of the previous row, we're going to do 2 double crochets again. 1, 2, chain 3 and end with a double crochet. And that is row 2. Okay, now for row 3, I did already start with my stacked single crochet for that first double crochet. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. We're going to go ahead and skip all of these chain stitches from the previous row, and we're going to go right into that first double crochet. So we're going to do 3 double crochets here, but this is actually where the Picot Stitch is going to come into effect. So we're going to work that first double crochet like normal. And then we're actually going to chain 3, come back into the top of that double crochet, and we're just going to slip right into that stitch. And then we'll go ahead and work the other 2 double crochet into that same stitch. Now we're going to go ahead and chain 1. Skip all of the stitches from the previous row except this last double crochet, where we're going to work our 3 double crochet again. So since I want them to look the same on one side as on the other, I'm going to do 2 double crochet first. So that's 1, 2. I'm going to fight with the yarn a little. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and chain 3. Come right back into the top of that double crochet, slip that stitch right through to lock it in, and then do my last double crochet and chain 2. 1, 2, and we'll go ahead and end the row with a double crochet. I think I remember why I don't use this yarn as much as I used to. Okay, and that is our row 3. Okay, and we finally made it to row 4 of this 4-row repeat. So I started with my stacked single crochets for that first double crochet, for that edge double crochet, which as you can see, my edges are looking beautifully straight. That's what we love. So now I'm going to go ahead and chain 4. And for this row, we're also going to be using the same little Picot stitch that have these little bumps throughout our project. So I'm going to go ahead and do my first double crochet, and it's going to look a lot similar to row 3 in this part. We're going to go ahead and chain 3 after that double crochet, and then right into the top of the double crochet, we'll just go pop our hook right in so we can slip this stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and work another double crochet into that same space from the previous row. And then we just work our third double crochet. So it is very reminiscent to the first where we started the row with the 3 double crochets, but as you can see, we have that little picot stitch there, and just go ahead and chain 3 after that third double crochet. Make another little lump. Go ahead, slip the stitch, and then again chain 4. And we go right into that last double crochet of the row, and we just work our double crochet to finish this row. And that is what you should have at the end of your 4 rows, at the end of your repeat. This is what we are working for. It looks similar to the picture. Now, I do need to show you guys how to, of course, continue working it up, since the whole purpose is to make it seem like it's being worked in a continuous pattern. So for the next set of 4, I'm going to be working half stitches just so that you guys can get the edges if you do decide to continue with the row. But of course, I'll show you guys what it looks like when the continuation is followed. But that's what we're working with right now just to get started. So let's go ahead and get started on row 5. So like I said, for these next 4 rows, we're basically working it in half. So just so you guys can see, you know, how it's going to go if you do continue the pattern, and you can keep building it up. But for row 5, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start with my stacked single crochets. Okay, go ahead and add another double crochet into that same first stitch. And we're going to chain 4. Okay, and right into the middle of the 3 double crochet from the previous row, we're going to work our 1 double crochet right in the middle. Again, chain 4. Okay, and we'll be finishing off with 2 double crochet in the last double crochet of the row. And that's row 5. Row 6, again, we're going to put a double crochet or stack single crochet into that first stitch. Now we'll put 2 double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 3. A double crochet in the middle. Just 1. Again, chain 3. And we do 2 double crochet. And 1 double crochet to finish the row. And there you have row 6. I made sure to turn my work. Now for row 7, again, we start with that stacked single crochet or a chain 3, depending on how you like to start your, or how you like to work your edges. Chain 1, and now in that, so this is 1, 2, the third double crochet from the start, we're going to do 3 double crochets. And you have to remember, in this row we have to include the Picot stitch. So we'll do 2 double crochet first. 1, 2. Now here we chain 3 to the top of that double crochet. We're gonna slip the stitch, and then we work our last double crochet. Here it's a simple chain 2. Of course, we'll double crochet in the middle. Chain 2. And then it's 1 double crochet, chain 3, slip the stitch into the top of the previous double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. Chain 1, and we just double crochet into that last stitch. And that's row 7. Okay, and so for row 8, we're going to start with the stacked single crochets like how I have been. This is my first double crochet of the row. And here, since we can't forget the little Picot stitches at the top, we did our first for the edge, and now we're actually going to do another one into the space. So that's another double crochet, chain 3, and then slip it right back into the top of that double crochet to secure our little design. And now we chain 4. Double crochet into the double crochet in the middle, another chain 4, and go ahead and do a double crochet into the space from the previous row, chain 3, 2, 3. We're going to slip right into the very top of that double crochet, slip through to secure the design, and then again a double crochet at the last stitch. So that last double crochet gets double crocheted, and there you go. That's row 8. So from here to restart the pattern again is super simple. We're going to go into our previous stitch, start with my stacked single crochets, and the rows repeat all over again. So here we'd be doing chain 4, 2, 3, 4, 3 double crochets into the middle double crochet from the previous row, 1, 2, 3, again chain 4, if the yarn lets you, 3, 4, and then double crochet at the end of the row. Okay, and you would again, this is the row 1 from here, and then you'd repeat row 2, 3, and 4, and then rows 5, 6, 7, and 8 until you reach the length that you are looking for in your project. So this is the stitch that I'm actually going to be using in my next project. I already did get started working on it, so it does look super cute. Of course, I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. Let me actually go get it so I can show you guys now. Okay, so here is the example that I worked up for you guys. I also did try increasing, which as you can see, it went very well. All I did was just add 2, or basically complete the stitch in the rows according to how they go. So for the first row, instead of doing just 2 on the edge, I did all 3. And then the next row, I did all 5. For For the third row, I did the 2 clusters of 3 double crochet with their bobble stitches, and for the last stitch for this top row, I actually did a chain, or I'm sorry, the stacked single crochet at the edge, chain 2. Then I worked the middle stitch as normal, the 3 double crochet with its 2 bobbles, and then chain 4, the double crochet in the middle, chain 4, and then again those 3 double crochet with their 2 picot stitches, 2 chains, and a double crochet at the end. And to decrease, it would be the exact same. So to decrease, you'd be taking away 2 stitches from every row. You just want to make sure that you're working it in line with the pattern, so that way it still makes sense visually. But this is what the pattern looks like worked into a panel. And as you can see, the edges where the pattern is still worked in makes perfect sense. And you can see it's like if the pattern is being worked in diagonal or in a circle in a way. But this is what it looks like. And I even did decreases just so you guys could see what that looks like as well. But yeah, this is the pattern, and this is actually just one of the front panels from the project that I am working on. But of course, if you guys need any more information or any more details, don't forget to let me know in the comments down below. I'll provide as much information as I possibly can. And I'm actually going to include how to increase this stitch. So I'm just going to do that right now. I went ahead and undid the increase that I had previously done just so I could show you guys how to do it. I am starting with that stacked single crochet on the edge, and as I'm sure you can tell, I undid that top row from the previous one, so it doesn't have this section. But what we're doing now, this is my first double crochet. I'm going to do 2 more into that stitch. Three, and then we're going to go ahead and chain 4. And then in the middle of the previous row, just going to plant our double crochet, another chain 4, and again 3 double crochets in the last stitch of the row. And that's row 1 of the increase row. I'm gonna go ahead and turn our work, and in this first stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet. So the first one is going to be my stacked single crochets, and then another double crochet in that same stitch, 1 double crochet in the middle, and then 2 double crochets at the end. Chain 3, double crochet in the middle, chain 3, and again you do 2 double crochet in that first stitch, one double crochet in the middle, and 2 double crochet at the end. And don't forget to turn your work. For this row, we are going to make sure to include our picot stitches. We don't want to leave them out because it does change the way that the design looks. So we're going to start with my stacked single crochets for that first double crochet. And we're going to chain 3 and slip my stitch right into the top. And then 2 more double crochet in that same stitch. Remember, we're increasing here, so you do want to keep track of where you are in the pattern while you are increasing, just so that you make sure that you're continuing the pattern as you should, even on the increase stitches. So I did my 3 double crochets with my picot stitch, and I made sure to add the chain 1, and then we just go right over to the last double crochet of the set from the previous row and do the same. So we'll do 2 double crochet, chain 3 and slip it back into that previous double crochet. Slip the stitch right on in there so that it's held, and then our last double crochet. And of course we're going to chain 2, do a double crochet in that middle double crochet, chain 2, and we repeat what we just did. So we're going to do 1 double crochet with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip it right back into the top of that double crochet so we can anchor it down. And then we do 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Chain 1, and of course, like we did, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 3, again anchor it into the top of that previous double crochet with a slip stitch, and then our last double crochet of the row. Okay, and that's what we've got so far. Okay, and for the last row, I already started with my stacked single crochet, so I'm going to add 2 chains, and then right into that middle we're going to do our 3 double crochets, so into this middle stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, don't forget the Picot Stitch, you're going to chain 3, anchor it right back into that double crochet. We want the little ball, we don't want a space, so you want to make sure you're anchoring them. Another double crochet, and our 3rd double crochet. Okay, we're gonna add 1, 2, 3, and our anchors. And then you go ahead and chain 4. Double crochet into the middle. And we just repeat what we did on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead, chain 4. And our first double crochet. Chain 3, slip into the top of that double crochet we just did. Here we go, another double crochet, our 3rd double crochet, chain 3, slip into the top of that double crochet, chain 2, and you're going to double crochet the last stitch of the previous row. And there you go. That's how you increase. We just made sure to complete the pattern on each one, which resulted actually in adding 2, except in the first row where we just added 1. But since it does increase for each row from there, it made perfect sense. It did work out. So this is how you would increase. And then of course to decrease, you're just gonna work it the other way around. No, I'm just kidding. You're just gonna make sure that you subtract 2. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do that now. Okay, just so you guys could see better, this is where we started with the 2 first example rows. This is the increase row, and this is just the row to show you guys what the pattern would look like after that increase that we did. So now I am actually going to show you guys how to do a decrease so that hopefully we can get back to just 1 repeat, which is going to look like this for this increase. So this is basically where we're trying to, this is where we're trying to end up again. Okay, so I'm going to decrease here so that it looks like this again by the end of everything. So what we're going to do to get started there, As you can see, well, hopefully, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with my stacked single crochet. This is gonna be my first double crochet, my edge stitch. And I'm actually just gonna chain 2 here instead of 4. Since we're decreasing, we're gonna decrease by 2. So that's 1, 2. I'm gonna go all the way over here and we're gonna put my 3 double crochet. Chain 4, our double crochet in the middle, chain 4, yeah, 3 double crochets, and what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So here we chain 2, and we go right to that end and put our double crochet. Okay, so this is our first decrease row. Okay, so for the next row of our decreases, I started with my stacked single crochet, and we're actually going to skip these 2 chain stitches. So we're not going to chain anything here. We're just going to go right into that next double crochet. And we're going to work 2 double crochet here, 1 in the middle, and 2 on the other end. That's 2 here. Chain 3, do our double crochet in the middle right here. Another chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then again 2 double crochet in this stitch, one double crochet in the middle, and 2 double crochets on the other end. And again, we're not going to do these 2 chains since we are decreasing. We're just going to go right into that last double crochet of the row and double crochet it. And that is decrease row 2. Okay, now for row 3, I did get started with my stacked double crochet. That's my first my stacked single crochet. It's going to be my first double crochet of the row, and you're going to notice that I'm not double crocheting anything together. I'm not going to double crochet 2 together, I'm not going to double crochet 3 together, none of that. So here you see I have 5 stitches, and since we're only decreasing by 2 from each row, what I'm going to do is not include these 2. So I'm not going to make the cluster of 3 double crochet at the edge that goes on this row. I'm actually going to skip it. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 since we're only skipping 2 stitches. So it's going to be these 2. This one is my chain stitch, and I'm going to do 3 at the edge here, which is going to include this stitch, and this chain here. So you'll see it now. But I didn't make any more than just 1 chain. So that's 1, 2, let's not forget our picot, so we chain 3, and just slip the stitch in to lock it in, and then we do our 3rd double crochet and chain 2, 1, 2, double crochet that middle stitch, and then again 1, 2 chains. And we're back where we started, so we're going to go ahead and do 1 double crochet, our picot stitch, 1, 2, 3, and slip that stitch back into the top of the double crochet so we can lock it in, and then 2 double crochet, chain 1, and we skip all of these stitches to get to our last double crochet of the row, where we're just going to double crochet like normal. So the last stitch of the row and double crochet. There we go. Okay, and so far so good. So this is the second to last row, and we can just go ahead and turn our work for this last row. Okay, so I started off with my stack single crochet. Now this last row is going to seem a little suspicious since I'm not going to be skipping any stitches. So I went ahead, we're still decreasing, mind you, but I went ahead, I did my stack single crochet. So now we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet into the space from the previous row, do our chain 3 and lock it in the top of that double crochet, and we're going to chain 4. And we're going to work it into the middle stitch. And we're going to chain 4 again. And we're going to work our last double crochet into the space, or second to last double crochet into the space. Make sure to do our chain 3. Lock it into that double crochet. And then our last double crochet is going to go right into that double crochet from the previous row. Okay. And that is how you decrease. And that is the decrease. So as you can see, we brought everything back to where it needed to be. Once I start that next row, it'll be like starting from scratch. So I do the stacked single crochet, you just start all over again. Chain 4, 3 double crochet in the middle, chain 4, and our last double crochet at the end. And you would just continue building the project from here if you're going to keep going. But there you have it. That's how you would decrease. We took 2 away from each row except for the last row where we kept it basically the same. And we were able to decrease back down to where we started. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys one more look at the pattern. So now from this video, you shouldn't know how, but you can now see how to, first of all, create the pattern, continue the pattern, increase and decrease in this pattern. So if there are any questions that you guys have, please make sure to include them in the comments down below. I will be answering any questions that I receive, so don't worry about asking me regarding this pattern. Okay, don't ask me about another pattern. I don't know. I only know about this pattern for this video. So any questions that you have, I'll be more than happy regarding this. I'll be more than happy to answer regarding this pattern. Of course, I will make sure to link the diagram down in the description box below where I did find this pattern on Pinterest, so you guys can take a look at that picture. If you are good at reading diagrams, you'll definitely be able to figure everything out from there because it's super clear. So you should have no problem if you can read the diagram. And of course, if you can't, just rewind and keep referencing back to this video over and over. And like I said, ask me any questions that you have. If you don't want to ask here on YouTube, that's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and ask me on my TikTok or on Instagram at chaoticgirl_crafts, where you'll be able to see this pattern as well as the project that I'm working on for next week's video and any previous patterns that I've worked on. So any questions that you might have on any of those patterns, just go ahead and comment down below the post for those patterns, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you guys on those posts as well. But thank you so much for joining me in this week's video. I hope you guys had a great time making whatever you're making, and if you are making this pattern, I hope with all the hopes that I can hope that you really understood what happened. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and I'll answer them for you, I promise. But don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to join me next week. I'll see you then. Bye.